Hello and welcome to the Upside Down Shack. Today we have some crazy news regarding a new casting call from the production of Stranger Things Season 5. I'm not going to waste your guys' time, let's get right into this casting call news. So just yesterday we received news that there is a casting call directly from the Stranger Things production team looking for a young Will, a young Mike, and a young Jonathan. I'm going to flash this image of the casting call up on the screen right now and walk you through it. So here it is, as you can see on the screen. I'm still going to read through it for you guys. The first casting, as you can see, we have 3 names and their descriptions for a casting call. First up, we've got young Will. Character is portrayed as a 8-year-old male, white, hazel green eyes, looks like a young Noah Schnapp. No scripted lines, co-star. Then we have young Mike. Character is portrayed as 8-year-old male, white, brown eyes. Looks like a young Finn Wolfhard. And then finally we have young Jonathan. Character is portrayed as 13-year-old male, white, brown eyes. Looks like a young Charlie Heaton. No scripted lines, co-star. So there you have it. There is the official casting call for those 3 main characters in their younger forms. Along with this information, we also got told that these characters will play a major role in episode 4 of season 5. And the last thing we learned about this casting call is that they are most likely going to use the same deepfake technology that they used for 11 in season 4 on these new young characters. Or at least the younger versions, these new actors of already established characters. So let's dive into this with some speculation now. One, I just want to point out that we already know we're going to be getting some deepfake technology in season 5. A couple of months ago, I made a video on the official pictures released by the Duffer Brothers showing Noah Schnapp on set of Stranger Things season 5. It was for Will's birthday. There was a picture of Noah standing up on set in this very colorful jacket, and then there was also a picture of him laying on the ground in Castle Byers, current day, and then behind him, a child that looked very similar to him with red dots all over his face, signifying that they're going to be doing some sort of face replacement, CGI, deepfake, whatever you want to call it. And, I theorized that this was sort of a dream sequence taking place in Castle Byers, maybe a nightmare, maybe something planted in Will's head from Vecna. I'm not going to go too much into that again, but if you want to check the video out, it'll be in the description below. So this is not the first time we are hearing about deepfake in season 5. Looks like it's going to be continued to be used, new stand-ins for the younger versions of Will, Mike, and Jonathan. Now, going into this potentially playing a large role in episode 4 of season 5 is crazy. Obviously, this news of the casting call for 3 major characters as a younger version of themselves is crazy in itself, but hearing it is going to play a big part of the 4th episode of the season is even crazier, which leads me into the deeper part of the speculation. What is this going to be? Now, there's a couple theories I've been seeing floating around online that I'm going to jump into just real quick and give my takes on them, with the first one being time travel. Yes, I haven't really covered it on the channel at all, but I have seen this rumor just floating around, ever since even the end of season 4. People have been theorizing time travel is going to be a big part in season 5, that they're going to go back in time, kind of Endgame style, to reverse what Vecna did, to destroy the Upside Down, things along those lines. So with this young casting call, this could very much be the case. Maybe we see our characters go back in time or go through some upside down wormhole and see past versions of themselves. I'm not completely opposed to this if they do it tastefully, and I think it would be cool to see younger versions of these characters, even younger than we saw them initially in the series. Looking at the casting call, Mike and Will are going to be 8 years old. When we first met them, they were around 11 at 12 years old. So going back 4 years before anything happened in Hawkins. Now, what this has to do with the time travel, why they would go back to this point in their lives, I don't know. Maybe something integral happened for them that they need to revisit or change in the timeline. Or going into the second theory, maybe it is a personal flashback. I know a lot of people really want Mike and Will to end up together at the end of the season. And I'll kind of entertain that for just a little bit. We know Will is going to have a love interest in this season, and he's kind of going to be more open about how he feels, sexuality wise. And we're going to be diving into that a little more. So, I mean, potentially, maybe this is a fond flashback memory of the two boys hanging out. And maybe that's when he first realized that there was something there. Or another side to that is that things are just so bad current day that we just see a flashback to, when times were good, when they were literal children, even Jonathan only being 13 years old, kind of before his life turned upside down. Not related to the actual upside down, but you know what I mean. And maybe it's just a fond flashback memory of their lives before everything happened, before Hawkins was consumed by the upside down, before 11 came into their lives. And this is just as plausible as any other theory or speculation that we're going to get into. Because again, we don't know all that much about season 5, about a lot of the plot. All we can do is kind of theorize and speculate. And those are kind of my 3 ideas. It's either going to be some sort of visiting their past selves through time travel or wormhole, whatever. Maybe a fond memory that Will has of Mike and Jonathan happens to be there. Or I think the most plausible, honestly, is just a flashback to their former selves. I think we're going to learn a lot more about these characters in the 5th season to kind of wrap up their full arc, their full life as we know them as an audience. And I definitely think this is a sufficient way to do it, even if it just takes up 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of an episode of a flashback a few years before the events of Stranger Things, showing how they were before everything happened, before they got to this point in their life. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is that 2 of these 3 casting calls have no lines spoken, which could mean a lot of things, but even also kind of debunks the theory that I think makes the most sense, which is just a basic flashback. Because wouldn't you think in a flashback of a fond memory, you would have all the characters talking and interacting with each other, when in this, it's literally just the young Mike who will have lines. It looks like the young Will and the young Jonathan don't speak at all, which kind of gives way to this time travel theory, because, in a lot of time travel scenarios, our characters who are doing the traveling through time aren't really seen conversing that much or at all with the people in the past. Even then, you don't even see the people in the past talking that much, as our current characters are very standoffish, kind of just watching from a distance. We might see their mouths moving, or, just the actions they take and what they're doing in that moment that we probably have already seen or been told of. So that's why I think the no lines spoken for 2 of the 3 of these characters kind of does give way to that time travel theory and makes it a little bit more legitimized. Because why would they have these characters if they're not going to speak any lines? I can't see a scenario in which it's just a general flashback and it's just Mike talking and Jonathan and Will are shut up, or what scenario they could be in where they don't have any lines. Maybe besides, a movie theater. That's really it. And the more I talk about it, the more this kind of time travel, just seeing themselves from a distance, makes a lot of sense. But I'm going to leave that up to interpretation, more theories, more speculation. And of course, if we get any more news about these young characters being casted and what it could potentially mean for the plot of season 5, I will keep you guys updated as soon as I hear about it. But that is about all I have for that news today. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comments below now. What do you think these new casting calls for a young Mike, young Will, and young Jonathan are for, and what it will do for the course of season 5? I'm excited to read what you guys have to say and respond to those in the coming days. Also, while you're at it, make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.